Hey everyone, thought I'd make a new series here on the channel called Old News. Not everything I read can make it into the high quality production videos that I make once a week, but it doesn't mean that there's not plenty of interesting stuff to talk about that I read on a daily basis. So I thought I would make this show Old News, where I'm just sharing the hottest, spiciest archaeology, anthropology, historical news of the week. Archaeologists at Pompeii discovered the remains of this poor guy who had been absolutely smashed, minced by this giant rock that was knocked off in the eruption. Totally dead. And yeah, the pictures of this thing are really fascinating. This poor guy just buried under this stone. Now, archaeologists don't know if the cause of death was this giant rock smashing into his skull, or if he was killed in the pyroclastic flow and then the rock hit him. Either way, he met a pretty grisly end. I hope it was the rock, at least that would have been quick. But yeah, fascinating stuff. I mean, Pompeii has got to be one of the greatest archaeological sites in the whole world. There's nothing really like it anywhere else, so cool beans. The second story I've got for you, Old Man Ötzi. I hope I'm saying that correct. If you don't know who Ötzi is this ice mummy found in the Alps, and this guy died about 5,300 years ago, right at the sort of end of the Neolithic, when we were just starting to work out how to use metal in Europe. Really well preserved. I think he may be the oldest mummy in the planet, and we can learn a lot from this guy. But interestingly, it turns out he was in terrible health. I mean, he's been dead for 5,000 years, so obviously he's not in the best shape, but they did an analysis of his body, what his last meals were, the state of his cardiovascular health. This guy was a walking heart attack. So he would have definitely had high cholesterol, would have had, well, he did have plaques, calcification of his arteries, particularly the, I'm not a doctor, what's it called? Carotid artery, which apparently takes blood from your heart, your head and your neck. And yeah, this guy would have been in terrible health. If he was alive now, the doctor would advise him to eat more vegetables. Apparently, his last meal, according to scientists, was some particularly fatty goat meat, some deer, and some grains. Now, what I find fascinating about this is that there's this fascination with our culture at the minute with the paleo diet, you know, eat like a caveman, how nature intended, all meat all the time. And, you know, who's to say that people in the Stone Age were healthy, you know? They live long enough to produce children because we're here, but that doesn't mean that they're in prime physical health. And, you know, in my humble opinion, these high-fat diets are not healthy, but that's just my opinion. It is fascinating how much we can learn about a guy who died 5,000 years ago, though. These mummies, crazy. Love to find one. And then the final story I've got for you today is on the origins of the Incas. According to this article, the Incas had a couple of origin myths, a couple of legends. One that states that they're from the Lake Titicaca region, and the other one that they're descended from these brothers from the Pacaratambo Mountains, which is a great name, by the way, Pacaratambo. Sounds like a dance move. He's doing the old Pacaratambo. But yeah, so scientists have a big DNA base to test this against. You know, they had a DNA sample of 3,000 people who are modern day descendants of the Incas. The Incas obviously left behind a lot of mummies as well. So again, these mummies coming into play. So we know the DNA of the Incan nobility, and they were able to narrow this search down to 200 individuals who really share the same DNA, or at least very similar to the Incan nobility. Where are these 200 people from? Bloody Paccaritambo and Lake Titicaca. So just goes to show in these like folk stories, legends, origin myths, there are grains of truth to be had. I'm not saying it's all 100% true, but there's something going on in these myths. Anyway, that's it. That's all I've got for you. This has been Old News. Tune in next week. See ya.